Hey guys, coming up next is Triome pricing. Let's take a review and see if these prices are correct. Thanks for tuning in. Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. MTG Moxman here. So today we're going to go over a little bit of a review about Triome pricing and the lands and how it affects an Ikoria, as well as going forward to see the different land types. Now, in case you guys didn't know and you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, join the fun. We have free giveaways monthly. We're having a lot of fun on the channel. It's just about kicking back with a little bit of knowledge being tossed in for fun. So here's how we do it. We've already done a bit of review. We know how these lands play out in Ikoria. We know they're fetchable, which makes them a very, very powerful card to have. In case you guys don't know about fetch lands come into play. You can pay a life, sack them, go get a basic land. When you look at a Triome, it's not very good there, but it says Swamp, Island, Forest. Okay, it'll have basic land types on there. If you do that at the end of a turn, you're getting a 3-mana combination possibility. And cards like Misty Rainforest will let you go and get basically every Triome, I think, except for one, which is just amazing to think about. You'll be able to get any mana fixing you need to help your deck progress in the game. But not only that, the Triomes cycle. These cards cycle through, guys. They allow you to use flip decks and other things, or just to go forward in your deck faster to find what you're looking for. So a Triome in some ways is a very, very powerful card, other than the drawback of coming into play tapped. But if it didn't come into play tapped, it'd be better than a dual land, right? So it's a very, very awesome card to look at. Now, if you take a look at the pictures here, I have a few up on the screen here. So take a look at those mana combinations. I couldn't fit them all on the screen, I apologize, but you get the idea. The fact they have cycling later in the game really helps you out. The fact that they're fetchable just makes them a killer combination card. Now, with that all said, with all that in place, it's not the be-all end-all of cards because it does come into play tapped, and that can be a deficiency at certain points of the game. Late in the game, it's not so big of a deal, but against a mana ramp deck or a red aggro, a green pump and jump, right, they're just going to nail you so fast. Even a white weenie deck with lots of tokens can overwhelm you if you don't have some mid-range stuff still to take care of it. So I'm not saying you go with an all Triome deck and just you're going to win. It's not the way it's going to work. Now, the way pricing worked, these came out and they were hanging around that $10 mark for the first couple of weeks, in case you guys didn't know. But as things have progressed with this card, and it's seen just more house play at your own homes, we're obviously not in tournament play right now, so we don't know how they're going to play out when decks really get going, other than what people have told us or what we've seen online. So I took a look at some pricing here. So the higher end ones, which are the ones that can give you mana combinations you can use with a Misty Rainforest, they're $7, $8. You see they're like at a discount right now. They were at the $10 mark, couple of bucks for shipping. You know, it's like $10 a card. It's not bad. Now, the cheaper end ones, the ones that aren't quite as usable, they're at the $4, $5 mark. Now, this puts them right in with how I would expect them to be priced for now. Okay? We have other sets coming up. They will be using the party mechanic. We know that from the Dungeons & Dragons set coming, we know from Strixhaven, and we already know from Kaldheim when we get the extra set of our modal flip lands. You might see players trying to do a combination of the modal flips with the Triomes, just a couple of them splattered in to make sure mana combinations are perfect, because modals give you one or the other. Triomes are going to give you 3. So you might do a combination of those, which may see more of the product being used up. Now remember, Ikoria is not being opened right now. Okay, there aren't a lot of people going out there saying, "I'm going to open some Ikoria Collector Edition. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna get this one and that one and oh." That's not how it's being done. What's been opened has been opened. These ones that I have showing right here are what I got from one of my boxes, but you don't get that many. They are rare. So you're going to get a few in a draft box. You'll probably get a few extra ones in collector that'll be full art or foil. But that said, that's still not a lot, is it? And as I said with the modal flip lands, they're done. They've been printed. They're not printing them again. So as decks are being made, you're going to see these lands dry up. That doesn't mean Wizards isn't going to go ahead and reprint them right? We can see them being reprinted at some point in the next 24 to 48 months. But the amount of decks that will be played in the next 12 months as we get past this global pandemic and people start saying, oh, I can go back to my store. I need to pick up these for Pioneer. I need to pick this up for my Modern deck. I need to pick these up for Standard. I mean, they're not as popular of a format right now. Commander probably will use a little bit of it as well, but all those different formats, all taking little pieces of a very limited pie in Ikoria, and people not wanting to go spend $150 to open a draft box to get 1 or 2 lands, you're going to see that product dry up, and the prices will etch up slowly. It'll seem small at first. You're going to see 20, 30, 50 cent increases. But if somebody walks in and says, I need 50 of this for my 10 decks, and they take a variety of those cards, it seems like a lot of money, but it's not to a lot of players. So if somebody goes in and says, oh, they're $5 a land, I'm going to take 25 of this, 10 of this, 4 of this, 6 of these. It ends up being 25 cards gone. Yeah, it costs them $125, but they have all the cards they need. But how many booster boxes and collector boxes had to be opened to meet that supply just for one player? So it could be a bottleneck of product being used up over time. So just keep, be aware of that. If you need some, pick them up at this $5, $6, $7 level. It's going to be okay. It's not going to hurt you. And a mana base is a key to any deck. So they are going to be used and you're going to need them. I mean, you can still put some basic land smattering in there because we know they do different things to destroy lands. And you don't want to be caught unawares that you can't access. But they count as basic. So they're going to be very usable, and in certain decks that have things come into play untapped, or if you have the enchantments to make your opponent's stuff come into play tapped, like a couple of the creatures they have right now, you can make them as limited as you. You can drag somebody else's deck down with you if you're going to be using a modal flip with a Triome combination. Now, I don't think they're going to be doing anything spectacular for Kaldheim in the terms of what mana base they're going to be giving us. We know they got the modal flip lands. There might be a couple of specialty lands associated with Kaldheim. In Strixhaven, I expect the same. There won't be any major land base changes. So it means you'll be relying on these lands. That's what Wizards is putting out. But they may have a couple of small specialty lands that come into play related to the Wizards, right? And then when D&D comes out, you might see 1 or 2 actual legendary lands related to Forgotten Realms. I would expect to see something like that, being as it's their first foray into this world, and they're gonna want some specialty. I'm not saying you're gonna see a Waterdeep, but you might see some cool land cards associated with the Forgotten Realms because players would like to see that kind of thing. If Wizards thought ahead, they will be doing that. I expect them to. So when you're going back though and you're looking at buying the Triomes, they are a good buy right now. They're not going to hurt you. It's still an investment, but it's an investment for a few years and, of course, for future decks later on. I just worry about the limited supply since Ikoria has already been printed. People have already opened it, and we've already moved on to the next thing, that we're not sure what's going to be left in a 12 to 24-month period. We don't know what will be available on the market, depending on how many boxes were opened. People did open a lot of it, but there's a lot of players out there who are just raring to get back into this. So you can only imagine, like I'm feeling, I've got to pick some up. Like I did the modal flip lands. They were cheap. I grabbed some extras because I know I'm going to need them. And I don't want to be caught paying an extra 6, 7, 5, 20, 30 bucks a card later on, or for a small grouping of 4 or 5 of them. I don't want to be caught paying those prices. So I'm just warning players out there, the Triome pricing review here, that it is a good buy right now. It's not horrible. But the market, I think, will be a little tighter than what people expect going forward. And you don't want to be buying from your local store paying that much more when you can pick them up a little bit cheaper now, ordering online from your local LGS or ordering online from eBay or any of those sites to try to grab some. I know I picked up some from Dan Bach online, so it's not a bad place to visit to check that stuff out. And if anyone has any questions about that, please put it in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer your questions and give you my honest opinion of what I feel, if you're getting a good deal or not, or if you have questions about the cards and how they'll be used. But making them fetchable makes them very useful for people. So if they're going to be useful, they're going to be used. If they're going to be used, there'll be less supply. If there's less supply, the price goes up. You see this like nice little choo-choo train going along. And I notice a lot of people don't talk about this stuff sometimes. And I don't know if it's on purpose or if they're just not thinking about it because it's like, it's a Triome, they're rare. There's it's fine. Yes, they're rare. Yes, it's not impossible. but there's just not more boxes being opened now. We're not cracking more of them to put more product and more supply into the market. So whatever's out there is kind of out there right now. So keep an eye on it. You know, my channel's not huge, so a lot of people are kind of just starting to pick me up now. It's a good way of checking it out, okay? Grab them now while they're not too expensive. So I hope you enjoyed the review today. This is MTG Moxman. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great holiday, and we will see you guys soon. Cheers. Stay frosty out there. I'm clicking buttons. You see it down here. Buttons to click. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Big shout out to all my patrons out there. You guys are awesome. And if you want to get on my Patreon, you can find me at MTG Moxman on Patreon. And I hope you enjoyed the entertainment today. We're just having some fun. Have a great one.